Hi everyone, my name is Katarina, and this is an Automotive Live. This is my channel, Katarina's Garage, and this is my problem child, Mustang. So, to be honest, normally she's a stalwart, and don't get me wrong, she's still very reliable. She'll still go down the road just fine at the moment, although she's a little down on power, and she stumbles off the line, and I just, I'm a little lost on what this could be with my car. It's just one of these things that I don't really understand with this car is why it pains me so. Why does this thing want to hurt me the way it does? Lately, it's been such a problem child. The other car is too, to be honest, but that's been a problem child ever since I got it, to be honest. Hey, I mean, to be honest though, um, like a lot of my stuff, and actually I need to turn up the brightness here because otherwise I'm not gonna be able to really see comments all that well. No, I don't want adaptive brightness. Leave me alone. There we go. That's better. So, yeah. So, like I mentioned, like this car lately has been a bit of a problem child. Some of it has been by my own, because of me. As an example, the carburetor, or not the carburetor itself, but actually the throttle cable, with it keep fraying the way that it was. That was an easy fix, to be honest. I just needed to extend out the mount for the throttle cable, and it's all good. There's no issues there whatsoever. So, which is really good, to be honest, because I was getting tired of having that cable snap on me and leaving me stranded. Which, don't get me wrong, yes, can you do like a shoestring and get it down the road? Of course you can. However, there is one little thing about that is not the best. That's that this thing's a manual transmission. So trying to work that while having to shift and having to steer, nightmare, to be honest. It's one thing for that car being an automatic, that's not the end of the world. Don't have to shift it, but this car I have to shift. So, having it that way to get it home is not ideal exactly. But yeah, it's just, I tested something today, in which that video will come out very soon, of the vacuum advance in this car, because I thought maybe that's my problem now. And that's not the problem. So I have basically gone through a checklist of what all it could be. So timing, that's out the window because the vacuum advance is still working, and it's not timing directly because that hasn't changed at all since this started. So okay, can't be timing, and that it wouldn't start and run the way it does. So okay, can't be timing. It's not the ignition because I already tested that with two different ignitions and they're both working just fine. Like, let's see, what else did I test, to be honest, that it could be? I thought that maybe it was the coil, but then I realized, wait, no. If the coil was going bad, that wouldn't be it. Just hear me out on this, because it's still melting copper plugs, so it's still putting out ample amount of voltage. Unless if it's inconsistent voltage, which I don't know if my multimeter would go high enough to test that at like full throttle on this car, to be honest. So, yeah, it's just so okay. So we got all that out of the way. The only thing it could be is the carburetor, which makes no sense because why did the Holly do this too? Like, it's confusing. It's very confusing. This car actually runs a tad lean, like not a dead lean, but a little bit lean. I do want to jet it up to maybe like a 50, or even say like a 51 or 52, which I don't know if I have the jets for that around here. I might. I don't think I have any quite that small. I think I have 54 or like 56s as my jets hanging around right now. And thanks, Tim. I really do appreciate that. There's Tim, always being an absolute stalwart of just awesomeness. And and I hope everybody in here is having an absolutely wonderful day. so far mine has just been, well, I tested the vacuum advance on this car and it's working. Because I compared it to the other car, and it works the same too. Now the only way to know for sure, like, there is a surefire way to see, well, maybe it's not working to peak efficiency and that's why it's causing these problems. I'd have to swap the distributors out from both cars, which I could do, to be honest. It's not that hard at all. It would take me all of like 20 minutes to swap them both out. Or to swap-a-roo that way. But I don't want to do that. Just all that work for it not to be the problem, because I don't think it's distributor related. You know, unless it is. No, you're not stealing my hat. No, you're not. No. No, this is mine. This is mine. And ooh, it's a little chillier in the shade than I thought it would be today. It's actually quite nice out here, to be honest. Like, in the sun, I don't have to wear my coat, but in the shade, I do. Because there's just a tiny breeze. So it's getting a little chillier. But yeah, like, to be honest, and this car, it's so funny, actually. So with this hood is such a piece of crap. I hate it so much. Is trying to actually close the hood. God, it does not like to close at all. It really doesn't. I sometimes will have to push it down like 10 times or so, and I have to play around with the latch and just like, okay, yeah, no, get it in. It's so annoying. But what can you do, right? What can you do? But yeah, I decided to do a little different of a live, like it's still automotive related and everything, but actually to have my Mustang in the background, you know? I have multiple times. It still keeps doing it. Because it's the latch on this specific hood. It's not actually the pole. Although what's interesting is the pole is actually harder to do right now. Which, I mean, I've sprayed both. But with this hood, it's a rusty piece of crap hood, to be honest. I'm just using it for the wintertime, and that's it. You know? Oh, like, don't get me wrong, because like, here, I will just show you really quick. You know, so right now, like, really pulling on that, it doesn't go, but yet, you know, if I, you have to pull it really hard on that, right? Okay, so, you can see, well, you can actually see, it's actually touching there on, oh, this latch is catching on something. What's it catching on? Because it's actually got some wear marks in it. That's interesting. But yeah, basically, like, no matter how much I lube this damn latch, still does this. Let's see if I can find some. Hang on 1 second. I'll be right back. I'll lube it again. Okay, so fun fact, I think the WD-40 is in my car. Yeah, there it is. There we go. Alright, let's spray the crap out of this. There we go. Now I'm just going to let that sit for a bit. Just let it soak in. Let's see. I probably missed some comments here. See, that's fair. I mean, oil would actually work, to be honest, for that. But it's interesting because my other hood didn't do this, but this latch is definitely like, like the other one, it was so easy to pull open, um, and didn't do that of just like having to freaking slam it constantly. Yeah, yeah. Like I was thinking about, well, maybe I'll go live on TikTok again. I'm like, no, you know what? I have been neglecting my YouTube followers for lives for a while, so I decided, why not? And it's a nice enough day where I figured I'd sit outside. It's still cold up here though, but like it's not like, oh my god, freezing, but it's cold enough. I mean, hey, my site says I have currently 5 people. It's just only 2 of you are typing, so but yeah, it's just one of these things. Like with this car, to be honest, it's quite the problem child as of late. And like normally, this car does not give me problems. It's normally a good car. Just lately, it hasn't been. Potentially. Yeah, it's the bots that I pay for, just as placeholders here. Yep, that's totally what it is. And okay, 59 Fahrenheit. What the hell is that in Celsius? Because right now it is 6 degrees Celsius here, so I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I have no clue. Like, and if I felt like it, which I don't today, I'd swap the carb on my Capri, to be honest. Because this thing, like, it still runs and drives. It's just not perfect right now. Like, and it runs fantastic. Like, I can fire it up right now, and it's beautiful. Yeah, I am Celsius. Yeah, I am from Canada. What's my dirty car that really needs to be cleaned right now? I did clean it out, like, inside and out, but haven't done that yet. But also, like, broke. Like, I'm waiting. I need some money, really bad right now. But yeah, like, and I'm also waiting for parts from a friend. I'm going to leave their name anonymous because they don't want their name to be out there, which is totally fine. But my friend, he is actually donating me some awesome parts for this car. I was starting. Oh, frick! I wish it was 13 degrees here. 13 or 15, like. Yeah, if it was that warm here, I wouldn't need a coat. I'd be like in shorts. It would be wonderful. To be honest, it'd be beautiful out here. Being in the shade with this cool breeze, it wouldn't be cold. It would just be nice. So, yeah. But 13, 15, whatever. It's a couple of degrees. It's not that big of a difference, to be honest. Still very warm. And to be honest, for this time of year, that'd be ecstatic. Like, don't get me wrong. The other day was 10 degrees Celsius. Actually, it may have gone to 11. So, which was just absolutely wonderful. And like this time of year is when I can actually do work on the cars. It's not too cold. It's not too hot. I don't have near as many fainting spells and stuff like that. So it's much easier for like these few weeks that I got to work on the cars. I've just been too lazy to work on the cars though. Don't get me wrong, I've been diagnosing stuff and trying to figure it out that way, but just one of these things. It's bothersome. Like, and I wish my car was perfect right now, because like I have like I have my header in the shed right now. I'm gonna be getting some parts like I mentioned from a friend, which is an MSD6A block. It's used, but it's all good. And a full Koni suspension upgrade for the car. So it'll get Koni shocks, Koni springs. It'll be nice. And then while we do that, I might end up putting the GT sway bars in this car. And just all this different stuff that way, right? It'll be really, really nice when I'm done. It'll handle amazingly. And it'll also run really good. And then with the header on it as well, just, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. It'll be a wonderful car. Very soon. Coming soon to a channel near you. And that's the one thing of, like, because I actually had a guy last night. It was kind of funny. because you guys know that like I'm retaining the inline six and I'm being stubborn about it, 100%. Um, because you know, I don't want to get rid of it. The inline six is wonderful. It's a wonderful little engine, but it's it's been a bit of a problem child lately. But it's one of these things. Ah, there you go. That'll do the trick. So I had a guy last night comment on one of my videos. I don't even know which one it was. One fairly recently, and he commented 3 different times of saying that in different words that I should, put a V8 in this car, put a 302, put a 351, whatever, in this car. And I told him, like, no, you don't understand as to, like, why. And he's just like, you're not going to get the power out of that thing. I'm like, yeah, I am. It's not going to be as much as some 302s out there. It'll be more than other 302s. Oh, okay, we're just driving by. That's not so much of a mood with this car, but with that one, it's been tempting. Fill the Capri up with Tannerite and blow it up. At times. Like, it's overfueling like a bastard, which don't get me wrong, I've got that new carb for it, although I should probably go through it and just make sure it's all clean, because it's been in a box for 30 years. It's also, like, the gaskets as well are probably all dried up and, need to be replaced. Good chance. And, yeah, to be honest. And it should be a really good carb for that car. Brand new Carter 1-barrel carb off a 300 inline 6. It'll actually gain a bit of power out of it, too. And, the car should run better. It shouldn't be overfueling anymore. It's all this different stuff. And to be honest, because right now that car, God, is such a problem child. It runs like complete crap. Like complete crap. And it's interesting though, because it's actually got decent power. Like right now, my Capri is actually faster than my Mustang, which this thing should be faster than the Capri because this thing's lighter. Just in general, like this thing doesn't have all the sound deadening in it. It does not have all the right there, Mustang guy, right there. Screw you. Ooh, it's -2 where you are. It's 6 degrees Celsius here. It's actually kind of nice. But I just have a coat on because I'm in the shade and there's a tiny breeze, just a tiny breeze that makes it a little chilly. So I should actually change my shoes out too. But like this car, I don't get it, because it should be really good, but it's not right now. It's confusing. It's confusing as hell, because the Holly did this too, and now the Motorcraft is doing it, but nothing has changed with the Motorcraft. Like, honestly, it is frustrating me to no end to diagnose this damn car. Because I've already figured out it's not timing related. Like, unless if I could retard the timing and see if it does the same thing, to be honest. But I'm pretty sure it will do the same thing regardless of how much timing is in it. So I could retard the timing. I could take the carb apart and clean it. And that's it, though. That's it. Because what else could it be? Because it's definitely not the timing chain. That's not stretched or anything. That's only a 2-year-old timing chain on the car. And it's a double roller timing chain that I spent a lot of money on. So it better not be the freaking timing chain. But to be honest, like, a timing chain would be consistent all the time. So. And hi, J.O. How's it going? And hey, no worries, Connor. Definitely appreciate you coming out. Have a good day at work, and I'll catch you soon. But yeah, so actually my next video that's going to be coming into the channel is actually testing. So how can you test if your vacuum advance actually works without running the car, right? Which now, and I do show in the video of like, there is slight differences between it running and between you testing it, to be honest, because it does work differently. But, you know, it's quite a cool little experiment, actually, and you can do it without any tools whatsoever. All you need is suction. It sounds funny, but that's true. And, you know, I did it on both cars. Now, the only thing is, if you're not too careful with it, like, because you take the vacuum, or the vacuum line off for your vacuum advance, and literally you suck on it and see if you can see the little arm move. And if it does, then that means it's functioning, right? So, and also, if you can't hear any, like, air escaping, that means the diaphragm's fine. So, it's just confusing. Very confusing with this car. And I also saw that Dean commented. Hi, Dean. How's it going? I hope you're having an absolutely wondrous day. What? Don't say what when Jo comes in. I'm confuzzled. What? What did I say? I'm confused. Huh? I am so confused at what you're talking about, Mustang Guy. Genuine confusion. Fun times, fun times. Fun times in paradise. Like, as you can see, like, I'm still in a good mood overall. It's just, I'm still frustrated with this car, though. And that's the one thing, like, so actually, like, a few weeks back, I had somebody message me on Instagram. They've been a follower of mine for a while, and they wanted me to post some fake content, which was, they wanted me to get frustrated when starting my car, which I don't get frustrated if the car doesn't start, typically. The only time I've gotten frustrated with this car is when it kept, you know, kept fraying the throttle cable, to be honest. That's when I get frustrated at that point, because it keeps doing it over and over and over again. But if the car doesn't start, which is very rare, but on occasion it doesn't start. It's very, very rare. And he said that he would buy me a vintage motorcycle of my choice if I did. But I told him, I don't do fake content, dude. It would wreck the integrity of my channel. Even though, yeah, cool, I'd have a motorcycle. But right now is a piss poor time to have a motorcycle. I'd be able to ride it for like a week. And even then, I don't have my motorcycle license. So there's that. And I don't even know if I could actually ride a motorcycle. I'd love one, but I don't know if I can. Just due to the way my health is, it might just end up being that I would overheat too easily and I would faint on the motorcycle. It's a possibility. Oh, that's what you're talking about, Mustang Guy. Okay. That's funny. That's funny. But, actually, hang on. I'm gonna swap to my boots really quick, just so that my feet aren't cold. Give me 1 second. There we go. Nice warm feet, you know. When you swap from your basically wedges that aren't warm to your winter boots, it's much nicer. But the one thing is with my winter boot, because it's kind of funny. So the zipper on this, like on my boot, actually broke And I keep having to use zip ties. Speaking of which, I need to zip tie it really quick. So yeah, like I mentioned, because the zipper broke, every once in a while, I have to zip tie it, like so. So I can zip it up, just like that. There we go, because, and I'll just clip the tail a bit later so I don't step on it. But yeah, zip ties are one of the greatest inventions of all time. Which, although it's funny that it says, hey, you know, these can withhold 50 pounds of pressure. Yeah, how come I have to replace the zip tie every like couple months? 50 pounds of pressure in my ass. But yeah, you know, and something funny actually. So, story about zip ties. Actually, so one of the last cruises that I was actually on was for the Edmonton Mustang Social Club. And the thing is, wonderful group overall. I had a lot of fun with them, and great camaraderie and everything. There was a guy having issues with his. Just got this thing recently tuned, and he even had his tuner with him, and they were just having problems with the S197 on the cruise, and like he is talking with his buddies and like, oh man, I want zip ties, you know. I'm sure actually one of the foxbodies people have zip ties. I'm like, hang on, I've got zip ties. I go over and they're just like, what car do you drive? 81 Mustang. And the guy just starts laughing. He's like, yeah, see, told you. Somebody with a foxbody would have zip ties. But that's honestly just being resourceful though. Because even if I didn't have a foxbody, I'd probably still own zip ties. Because you never know when you're going to need them. For anything, you know? But that was just kind of a funny thing that happened. And if you're wondering, yes, there's actually, I do have a Dodge key on my keys that way. See, maybe it's the Dodge key that has been tainting my car. It's like, hey, I don't want to have the Dodge key within me because I'm a Ford. Maybe that's what it is. It's obviously not that, but it's just funny, to be honest, because yeah, and you know, like, even though like the lock and unlock never worked or didn't work on this one anyway, so the fact that it fell off, it's not really a big deal. So, but I can get it into my dad's Magnum this way. So I've got a key on this one. I've got a key on my other keys, which are, like, as an example, this is the other key for the Magnum. We have multitude of keys, and this one actually does. I have a Dodge keychain with it too. So, but to balance it out though, is that I do have the Ford keychain. So it works out. It works out. And now, did I see a comment that you said that you made wire separators out of zip ties? That's awesome, to be honest. Yep, you did. that is mint. Yeah, the curse of the Dodge. Which, I mean, that car is starting to become a problem child too. It needs a bunch of work, to be honest. And my dad can't afford to fix it. I can't afford to fix it for him. So we're kind of in a quandary of what's going to happen with that thing, because it's overdue for a timing belt. Like, the timing belt is 10,000, 15,000 kilometers overdue. So if that snaps, what's going to have to happen. And my dad's not going to like it. Because right now, I do not have a good enough car for him to drive that isn't my Mustang here. He would have to take my Mustang. I'd have to keep the Capri here, and I wouldn't be able to take the Capri down the highway. So, hi Shane, how's it going? I hope you're having a fantastic time. You know, and hopefully, because actually something if everybody doesn't know, Shane is, or at least was, I don't know if he's found anybody yet, he's looking for somebody that can weld cast iron, and the reason being is that the 429 that is in his Marauder actually has a crack in the block, and it's in between the bell housing and the block. So fair enough. I mean, I'm sure though, if you found somebody that could weld it, because he kind of wants to retain, because he doesn't want to do a full engine build on it, so he'd prefer if somebody could just weld it. So that's his kind of dilemma with that vehicle at the moment. And his Marauder's cool because it's a 70 or a 69 Marauder. It's dope. And then this car being a problem child lately, it's just like, what the hell? I don't really neglect it. That's the interesting part. No, because see, it wouldn't bog if that was the case. No, it wouldn't be that. It's a quandary that we have. Oh, there you go. Nice. Keyword on the nice, because it's 69. But yeah, no, it's just, one of these things. Just need to figure stuff out with this car. Because it's a quandary, to be honest, of what's going on with it. Because I've basically diagnosed everything it can't be, and the only thing that lies upon is the carburetor. But the carburetor doesn't make any sense, because why was the Holly doing the same thing as this Motorcraft is? Because nothing has changed with this Motorcraft, and I had this Motorcraft running absolutely beautifully before. Well, see, it's not Uno because we're not completely cussing at each other, and yeah, well, it's okay, Shane. It's not just a launching issue. It's also like I have to use full throttle a lot more than I used to with this car. So it's getting worse gas mileage, and it's down on power too. So it's a bit of a quandary because I've eliminated I've eliminated the fact that it cannot be the ignition module because I tried 2 different ones, still doing the same thing. I've eliminated the fact that of the vacuum advance because I tried that today. It's functioning. The only thing that hasn't been eliminated yet is potentially the distributor, but it shouldn't start and run the way it does if it's a distributor problem. So I don't think it's that. Unless if it is the electronics within the distributor itself. That's a possibility, but I doubt it. It's puzzling. It really is. Because I can't figure this one out. And there's no vacuum leaks, I can tell you that off the bat. I can fire it up right now and it'll be fine. It's just, yeah, I don't know. And I've been racking my brain of what it could be because I have diagnosed everything and I can't find it. Because I figured, maybe it was the spark plugs because they were getting melted by the coil I have in this car. Change those over? No. Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem. I don't have anybody here that could diagnose this pesky matter for me. Bothersome, because like I said, I'm not stupid when it comes to cars, right? And diagnosing this shit, I can normally figure it out, but this one's puzzling. And the Capri is just the Capri. That thing's cursed. It's got it's possessed. So the Capri is just possessed. Well, to be honest, it's likely debris in the gas tank from the Capri, but yeah, sure. If you're gonna pay for it, sure. You send over the parts, I'll install it. Okay. And if I don't, I'll get somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing with the methanol injection to install it. Okay. Because if anybody wants to donate me performance parts, I'm not gonna say no, right? If people want to donate that stuff to me to put in my car, just the only thing is we have to retain the inline 6. So that's our only limitation on this. one of these things. That's why, like, you know, my new friend, which I'm not going to disclose who he is. FX. What is an FX6 inline? I don't know that motor, to be honest. Like, cause for a second I thought you said, like, you know, I thought that said RX7, like rotary swap. I'm like, that's not an inline six. But here's the thing, I'm not swapping out this inline six. So what is FX6? XR6. Oh, it's within the same family, kind of. If you squint. Yeah, I mean, hey, if you want to donate me a Bara, I'm not gonna say no. Although I might go carburetor on the Bara because I'm stupid, but because figuring out all the ejection stuff would be kind of a pain in the ass, I think. But yeah, like I said, if you want to donate me a Bara, I wouldn't say no. Because oddly enough, now I wouldn't be able to reuse hardly anything on this actually. And I'd have to get a different transmission because a Bara is going to make too much power and it would blow up the tranny that's in this car. Because that transmission is only rated to, like, I think it's 315 torque, which a turbo Bara makes more than that. So yeah, see what I mean? Like, it falls on its face, like it just bogs, and I don't get it. Because, you know, like, that could be carburetor, but it doesn't make any sense. Because why did the Holly do it too? Like, and to me, the Holly may have been overfueling. I know it needed a float adjustment, but you know, no worries, Tim. No worries. You're viewing, and that's all that matters. You know, just get that watch time up. Watch all the ads if they come through. So, yeah, and like, and to be honest, because, you know, like, because yeah. No, okay. No, that's not the problem. Because I could launch this car before. Like, no problem. It wasn't until I swapped over to the Holly that I couldn't, and now swapping back to the Motorcraft, it still won't. So it's confusing as hell in that regard. Like, I thought of something, maybe. So the spacer that I have underneath the carburetor, could it be that? I just dawned on me. And no, that Mustang guy, that's all new. It's all new back there. That's all new. Brand new tank, brand new pickup, brand new everything back there. So it's not in the back with the gas tank. That's all brand new. The only thing it isn't new is the lines, but I know there's not a clog in the lines, because again, it runs totally fine for it to be that. So yeah. And like, again, it's not rotational mass, because it would do it just fine before. Like, it would. So before I swapped to the Holly, which is now back on the Motorcraft, but before I swapped to the Holly, I could dump the clutch and it would axle hop and go. Which you can tell, okay, it's making a good amount of power because of that. Like, not an extreme amount of power, but the fact that it's axle hopping, or was, you know, indicates that, hey, it's running really good. You know, and that's just a suspension geometry issue because, you know, welcome to the stock suspensions on these cars. That's why I can't wait for the Koni suspension, because, you know, when I have this thing all dialed in and dump the clutch, it shouldn't axle hop afterwards with the Koni shocks and stuff. No worries. Take your time. I'll be here. So yeah, it's just one of these things. Like, it's Is that now okay, Peter? Welcome to the live. Is that a Aussie flag or an Australian flag? I can't quite tell because it's very small on my screen, so apologies for that. Like, is it a, or I should say, is it an Australian flag or is it a New Zealand flag? I should say. I think I said Australian and Aussie flag. No, that's wrong. Yeah, because welcome. Australia. Okay, welcome to my live. Yeah, like to be honest, I've got an engine under the hood of this thing, which you might recognize a little bit, because oddly enough, Australia used these longer than actually we did. It's a good 200 inline six under the hood of this car, and you know what? Actually, for a better, I'm just gonna do this. There, just so that people can see it in the background there. Of the old inline six under the head. So, and I've been having problems with it that I can't quite diagnose. It's been a pain in my ass. I need to figure it out very soon here, because otherwise I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, don't get me wrong, it still runs okay. It just is down on power. So, need to figure that one out. And it bogs when I dump the clutch. So, again, need to figure that one out. And it just, I don't know, this car is just not making sense right now. Because normally, when I have problems with this car, it's a pretty simple thing, and I can fix it really easily, but this one's puzzling. And I've already diagnosed that it's not the ignition, it's not timing, and it's not, like, the only thing that it could be timing-wise, if it's not getting enough advance timing with the vacuum advance. That's possible, to be honest. But I tested it between the two cars, because I have a Capri as well with the same motor, and I tested both the distributors that way, and they were both seem to be functioning the same way. I wouldn't know 100% unless if I swap the distributors, which I might end up doing, just see. And I could quickly take the Capri for a quick burn and see, does it do the same thing? Because if so, that's my smoking gun. It's the vacuum advance in the distributor, right? So it's something that to consider, to be honest with the car. And if that's the case, then what I would do is I've got a spare motor that obviously has a spare distributor, so I just take that distributor and plug it in this car. Which I know nothing of that distributor. I know it came out of a running car. That's about all I know. And I know that motor was very healthy, just due to the fact that it still got the cross-hatching in the cylinder wells, actually, when I used my borescope on it. So, but it's not here, though. That's the problem. It's in Edmonton. Because otherwise, I would just do that right now. If it was here. But it's not. Because, welcome to living in a trailer park. You have no storage for it, engine on an engine stand. So it's 2.5 hours away. Yeah. So, just one of these things. And if I had the distributor here, which, and it might just be that when I'm up in Edmonton next, which will probably be in the next couple of weeks, to be honest, that I might just forego doing this until then. Because I can work in the shop and everything there too. So, yeah, and it's not fuel related. That I do know. Because actually this thing runs a tad lean. It always has run a little bit lean. Not a lot. I need to jet it up like 1 or 2 jet sizes, to be honest. It'll be fine, I think. Because I don't want it to run rich. I prefer to run it, perfect. But sometimes these carburetors you can't get perfect, especially when it comes to elevation changes and whatnot. Because fun fact, when I drive around, I get a lot of elevation change, being here and then going to, Edmonton and then going to Calgary. There's a lot of elevation change. It's electronic ignition. Yeah, it's stock electronic ignition. Now, see, it's possible that it could be the contacts within the distributor that way, but it's just, here's the strange part. Okay, just watch. you can hear that it idles just fine. It goes down the road just fine. It's just down on power, and if I dump the clutch, it bogs, right now. Motor's a little cold, so that's why it's kind of a little off, but, you know, if I actually properly warmed it up, it'd be fine. But, so, it's confusing, isn't it? And we can, quickly... Like, again, it's just a little cold, so that's why it's not perfectly smooth. But once it warms up, it'll be fine. And, you know, like you can hear out the back, again, it sounds totally fine. Again, it's just a little cold, so it's gonna take a minute to warm up, but, right? Like, that's the strange part. So, unless if there's something with the contacts within the distributor, that maybe that could be a problem, but... So, yeah, like that's the interesting conundrum that I'm dealing with this damn car. There we go. Oh, perfect. So I don't know. It's a bit weird, because if it was the electronic stuff inside the distributor, which I will admit is a little tiny dirty, I could clean it out. Which actually, you know what? Let's just do that right now. I don't have anything else going on. Give me 1 second. Let me just get some cleaning supplies. Quick. Let's see, did I miss anything? Nope, I have not. And welcome back. So yeah, I am just going to just clean out the inside of my distributor here real quick, because it is a little dirty in here, you know. Like it's possible that it's just because it's just dirty contacts and whatever else. So I'm just gonna clean it out if I can. Because it is quite dirty in there. I'm not gonna lie. Just double check to see have I missed any comments. Nope, I have not. Yeah, like without taking it hard. Yeah, so it all seems to work just fine in here. It's just a little weird. And these are still like original contacts and everything in there. Because I can bring the camera around. Hang on. So, like, you can see in here, you can tell this stuff is still original in here. Like, this has not been swapped out. It's very rare for this stuff to go out, but, you know, it's possible that at higher RPMs, maybe it's just not working properly. But fuel filter's fine, to be honest. This thing is not, this is like a newer filter. Like, this is my fuel filter, and it's not dirty at all in there. To be honest, just the outside of this case that's a little dirty. But, yeah, see? So, like I said, it's not fuel related. I can tell you that off the bat. You know. So it's just kind of one of those confusing things. Hang on, I'm just going to put this back together really quick for the distributor, because I did clean it out a bit, but it'll take a lot more than just Q-tips to clean it out properly. There we go. There we go. Perfect. So, that's what I'm dealing with right now. Like, and that fuel filter is, you know, 2 years old, but it's not clogged up at all. Like, you can see it flowing absolutely fine. It's like I said, it's... I don't know, because, like, I give this thing full throttle when it's, you know, not in gear, and it's fine, but... And, you know... But if, you know, once there's actually proper load on it, it just bogs down. Which is weird, because it never did before. Like... With my big-ass tires that I have for the summertime, yeah, but with these winter tires on it, no. So, it's just a little confusing, because like I said, I've diagnosed everything else. It's a puzzling car to figure out. And, you know, like, it's possible that my buddy Roy Marco could figure this one out, but... Yeah, because he would probably go straight to the carburetor, even though it makes no sense that it's anything with the carburetor, but it's possible. Even though, like, this carburetor was fine before, and then now it still runs, like I said, it runs fantastic, but it's possible that maybe there is a tiny bit of debris and it just doesn't like it when you give it, like, full throttle that way, but it's not like it's popping or anything when you give it, you know, a good amount of gas or, like, full throttle. It will only do that. Like, it doesn't pop or anything at all. So that's why it's like, yeah, it's not... Like, it can't be debris in the carb either. Like, it's so confusing. Like, unless the power valve all of a sudden decided, hey, I'm not going to flow as much fuel as you need when you're at those things, it's possible. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, everything is set 100% on this car. Like I said, this was tuned by Roy Marco himself. So... You know, he's a guru when it comes to these damn carburetors. And, you know, like, and I just don't know. Like, I could ask, I could maybe ask my neighbor to see if maybe he can figure this one out, too. Because he's quite good with carburetors, too. It's just... Actually getting a hold of him can be difficult at times, to be honest. Lately, I haven't really been able to get a hold of him very much, so... See me. But, yeah, to be honest, I just a little clueless of what it could be. Because, like, there's only one thing that I could potentially think of, but I don't think it's that. Like, so... Because it doesn't have a vacuum leak, so no, it wouldn't be that. No, it wouldn't be that. I don't know. It's puzzling. It's very puzzling. And it's something that has occupied my brain for the past few weeks. Of figuring this out. Because I thought that maybe it's the spark plugs. And yeah, it is. Like, to be honest... Normally, this car is a stalwart for reliability. I can jump in and go. And also, now here's the interesting thing too. Cold starts are a pain in the ass. If it's not plugged in to the block heater, it will take you quite a while to start this car when even it's warm outside, which makes no sense. So it's figuring this thing out, because I don't know at this point, right? I don't know. Because I mean, and a cold starting issue, like, and I know it's not the coil, because the coil's still melting spark plugs, so therefore it's not the coil. Although, like, because they are copper plugs, I can't afford platinum plugs at the moment. Because, give me a few weeks, and I might actually buy platinum plugs and put them in here. Hey, no worries, Mustang guy. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you soon. But, so, Peter, here's a question for you. So, what do you drive? Do you have anything cool? And also, like, because being from Australia, like, you got some really cool stuff, and obviously, like, Australians really do dig inline sixes like this, typically. Because they're fun. You know, like, and I enjoy these inline sixes. They're just not fast, but they're fun. What the? Okay, I got caught. You know, because, yeah, I'm curious. Because, you know, like, I'd love, it's just, I can't afford it, but I would love to find the Australian head for one of these. You know, the Aussie 250 head. That's not the crossflow one, because you do have to do modification to it. Like, I'd like the earlier one that's non-crossflow. Just for that removable intake and the way better flow. That, I might bump up the compression slightly, too, with an Aussie head. I would do a crossflow head, and I know those crossflow 250 heads that you guys have are like a dime a dozen. Nobody cares about them. It's just shipping them over is a nightmare because, you know, it costs a lot of money. There was somebody down in Colorado like about a year ago that actually had one, but ooh, nice, nice. You've got some lovely taste in cars, to be honest. And now, so your Falcon Ute with the Barra 6, is that, you know, stock turbo, or is it built out? Like, how much power are you making? Just out of curiosity. I know a little bit about the Barra. Like, I know that it's an evolution of what I've got here, to be honest. Like, it's overhead cams, variable valve timing. It's a badass engine, to be honest. And, you know, like, that would be a sort of dream, potentially, is to put a Barra in this thing. It's getting parts for a Barra that would be a nightmare if I ever needed parts, so. Because I live in Canada, so there's an entire frickin' ocean in the way. Stock non-turbo. Fair enough. Fair enough. Hey, still, you're still pushing about 200 horsepower out of those, which they're totally fine. Like, they're a great little motor overall, right? They just have very high potential for stuff. And, like, in your Land Cruiser, like, those are really cool, too. You don't see too many of those anymore. And, like, the last time, like, there's one here in town that was for sale for a while. I don't know. Maybe he got rid of it, potentially. He may have finally sold it. I'm not sure. But, yeah. It's just one of these things. Ugh. Frick. Yeah, because, like, it's one of these things, like, and I love cars, and I love working on cars, and, to be honest, I'm a big fan of inline sixes, especially. There's a reason why, like, I picked this car over a bunch of different vehicles because of the motor that it has, because you almost never see these fox bodies with the inline six in them. And before this, like, I wasn't really a big fan of fox bodies until I got this car back in 2019. Then I was really, really into it. And I've done a ton of work with this car, you know. It's got, you know, manual transmission in it. It's got, you know, that I swapped in. It's got a T5 in it instead of the C4 automatic. It's got an 8.8 with 355s instead of the 6 3/4 with 273s. It's got a 2-barrel Motorcraft carb on it currently. Which and I wonder, because now that the plugs are swapped, I wonder if the Holley carb would actually be fine, other than just needing adjustment. It's worth a shot because it took me all of 5 minutes to swap the carb, so it's really not too bad. And I could just quickly test it. You know, because that's the beauty. Because I could just back it into a shop and then just quickly, attempt to launch it, and if it actually wants to launch properly, I know for sure, hey, it's working. It was the carburetor all along. Ugh. Yeah, the fun that we have with working on these old cars. And I'm a big automotive enthusiast, and my whole life revolves around vehicles, to be honest. Every day I'm thinking about them and thinking about what can I do with my car, what do I want to do, and stuff like that. Because I have a vision for this car. Like, I have a header that's ready to go in. It's just I need a bit more cash saved up before I can install it properly. I'm waiting on a full Koni suspension setup for this car, and I'm waiting on an MSD ignition to come in for this car too. So that'll really wake it up too. All of that, and it'll handle amazingly, and it shouldn't, when I get this thing dialed in, with the Koni suspension, it's possible it won't axle hop anymore. So that'll be nice if it just hooks and goes. Other than with these, I might need slightly wider tires than what it currently has, but those are just my, winter tires, because I do have 275 60/15s for the summertime. Although with the Koni suspension, I might not be able to run those, because with the drop that it'll have in the winter, it might not work. So, yeah. Ugh. So I'm just thinking about. There we go. Oh, true. I get that. Parts for anything has risen since COVID, to be honest. Like, don't get me wrong, I found some cheap parts, but it's because they're not brand new parts. That's why. Like, my header as an example, that header, it's been discontinued for over 20 years. And it's a very rare header, and it's the best header that they ever made for these M96s, to be honest. Yeah. It's because it's a Hooker Super Competition Series 2-piece header that is, dual exhaust base too. It's a nice header. It's used. It's got one tiny pinhole in it, and it needs a little bit of cleanup. But I picked it up for only $125. I know that brand new, that header was probably in the neighborhood of like $1,200 to $1,500, to be honest. It would have been an expensive header, and there's a reason why they haven't built it again, because it's expensive to build that style of header, and it's a giant long tube header. Like, that's the one thing. We'll see exactly where it lands underneath the car, too, because with it when it gets lowered with the Koni suspension and everything, I might have to watch, potholes and stuff like that more so. Because right now I've got all the ground clearance in the world. It's wonderful. But, I mean, on the contrary, what I might actually do, though, is, because when I get that Koni suspension, like those springs, I might actually put in spring spacers so that I get the ride height back in the back. And it'll actually get more of a rake that way, to be honest, if I did it that way. So, which I love a rake, to be honest, and I could still use my big-ass tires. So, we'll see. We'll see. I just don't know what I'm going to do yet. With everything. Because in this Koni suspension, like, I think it's like a 1.5 inch drop in the front and like a 1.8 inch drop in the back, so it's quite considerable drop. And oddly enough, like, luckily, when I got my drive shaft cut down, I actually made them cut off an extra 1/4 inch, just so that if I wanted to lower it, I could. And so, yeah, I've got, a bit of room for activities that way, which is wonderful. I just hope though that I have enough room with that, which I believe I should, but we'll see. We'll see. It'll be close. Ah! Sorry, just running out of things to talk about. Plus, I'm getting really hungry too. Because it is, what time is it? I've been on here for an hour. Yeah, it's currently 4 o'clock. So, I will probably end this pretty soon here. Especially since it's going to start getting colder here pretty quick. You know, because of the whole time change thing, and it gets dark, you know, an hour earlier. Like, it gets dark at like 5:30. So, the fact it's 4 o'clock, it's going to be dark pretty soon. So, yeah, plus I'm starting to get a little cold, so actually, you know what? I think, as wonderful of a conversation as this has been, I'm not getting a lot of engagement right now. I'm getting a little cold. I think I will actually head inside and end the live. I really appreciate everybody coming out to the live. It was a fantastic time, and damn, 30 degrees, that's freaking hot. You know, here it's, right now, it's about 5 degrees Celsius. It's not very warm. But, yeah, anyways, I'm going to end the live here. I really appreciate everybody coming out, because like I said, I'm just not getting enough engagement in the chat. I'm getting cold, so I do want to head inside. So, anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you soon.